Breaking news, a Florida judge has just unsealed a more detailed, full inventory list of all the documents, many of them classified, taken from Trump's Florida home, Mar-a-Lago, in that search on August 8th. We have it here, and we have a team that's been looking through it and judging some of the significance here. Kara, you and I, as we go through this long inventory, goes over 33 items over 8 pages. One notable thing is just the treatment, or I suppose you could say mistreatment, in that these highly sensitive documents were thrown into boxes, containers, parts of the president's office with other things, magazines, books, clothing, gift items.
Yeah, I mean, you see that, and it's not just one of these boxes and containers described here, which is a list of 33 or so of them. 33 boxes and containers. I mean, you see in one of them, it's magazines, press articles, then 11 confidential documents, classified documents, 21 with secret classification markings, and then articles of clothing and gifts, a book, and then other non-classified government records. So you just kind of get a sense that this is very haphazard. It's not, these classified top secret documents are not being maintained in the secure manner in which they're required to be done. And so this just shows you the breadth of what they must have found when they went in there and looked at this. You know, we also see, and what was also unsealed today was an investigative team status report. And in that, the prosecutors write that, you know, as they're going through this seized material, that one of the things that they're looking at is not only the documents themselves, but the nature and manner in which they were stored. And they said that will inform the government's investigation and inform, it also says, witness interviews and grand jury practice. So certainly still a very active investigation.
I mean, that highlights the point that it's not just the retention of these documents, which belong to the government, not to the person, but also how they were stored during that time period. And by the way, if you get a security clearance, it is drilled into your head to treat documents with care because of the risk of them getting out. Evan Perez, as we noted here, empty folders listed in this inventory as well.
Yeah, Jim, and look, I was looking at, for example, you know, a box container from storage room is labeled as on item 18, and it notes 2 empty folders labeled return to staff secretary, military aid. There's a lot of things, you know, that stick out. We can't draw any conclusions, obviously, but it does, you know, fit into the pattern of what we know the former president, his practices were when he was president. And this is the kind of thing that the grand jury, that any witnesses that are going to be brought before the grand jury investigating this this case, as part of this investigation, they're going to be asked about the president's habits. You know, one of the things we know is, you know, he had a habit of, when he was getting briefed, he would ask for the documents and he would want to keep them, even though the protocol would be for him to return them to the aide who was handling it, and of course those things were logged in and logged out. There's a whole procedure that is used to keep track of these documents, and this is why there was so much concern inside the intelligence community about important documents that they obviously keep very, very tight hold of and track of. You know, would end up at the White House and then sort of disappear, you know, and so this kind of fits into that pattern, and I'm sure witnesses are going to be asked about that when they go before the grand jury.